Hello, everybody. We are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, and this is my forever co-host, Drum. And today, as I said in the previous video, we'll be doing another classic. That is Click. Adam Sandler's, well, my first Adam Sandler movie. I don't know about you.
I don't know. It was 50 First Dates for me.
Oh.
The one I could remember, or either Zohan. We should do a review on Zohan.
Yes.
But yeah, like one of the first Adam Sandler movies I got introduced to was this one. And it was the most family friendly, not really, but it was kind of family friendly.
Sure.
Kind of movie that I was allowed to watch around that time.
And like the previous movie, this is a bit heavier though, because like it's a bit more mature. Because of course, you have like the family, or like the fucking, and like not some of the violence, a lot more violent than the previous one, where it's like being kicked in the balls like 50 times. You're like, oh, cool.
For Samwise Gamgee.
I know, right? But yeah, I forgot this cast is pretty much fucking star-studded. Like, get Adam Sandler, fucking Kate Beckinsale, Samwise, Sean Astin, Christopher Walken, David Hasselhoff. We're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. God, what was his name? He played that cool guy in that old sitcom show.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's also in Barry with the other comedy actor. I'm forgetting his name too.
Bill Hader.
Yeah, Bill Hader. He's a pretty good actor. And the ginger kid is like talking shit all the time. He grew up to be the Joker and a Jedi. Yeah, he's that guy.
That was him?
Yeah. Now he has Jedi Survivor coming up.
Oh, good on you, kid. Jesus.
And Jonah Hill's here for like a brief second.
Who's Jonah Hill?
Yeah, he's like Adam Sandler's kid, like in the future. It's like, how cool, you got fat too.
Yeah. So bad.
By the way,
because that was the thing with Jonah Hill, is that people kept making fun of him because he was fat. I don't want to laugh at that.
No, I'm laughing because like
I mean, I was fat too. I'm fat now.
This movie reminded me there's a lot of things in this movie, especially not funny today. You're like, oh, I didn't know. I forgot. Like in 2000s, like we took sexual harassment so lightly. You're like, oh, right.
I was about to.
And then, oh, cool, homophobic.
And David Hasselhoff was the best. Yeah, David Hasselhoff was the best for that. Oh, that's so funny.
But like, if we get
Sorry,
right,
you're not supposed to laugh at those.
No, we're just laughing at like how pearly those age. Are like, oh, cool. Why not throw in homophobic jokes too? Why not? 2000s, early 2000s. Why not? No, this came out 2006, so it's the mid 2000s. But Adam Sandler's character is working his ass off. He's on the grind all the time, and he barely has time for his family. And they're like, this is very much relatable in adult life. Like as a kid, I was like, I cannot relate to this. And then as you watch it, like, I can.
And now I'm at my first job, and I'm like trying my best to be best at it, and then I'm like, I haven't seen my mom in like 4 days. I'm still a child, okay? I'm not that old. I like to see my mom from time to time.
Michael's just he's a workaholic essentially. Barely has time. Like he's like, I promise I'll make the tree house, and it never happens.
Oh, I promise I will go out camping. Never happens. They're like, yeah, that is the case, and like being torn apart. Either do good at work, make a lot of money to make his family, wealthy, or spend time with his family and like not work as much.
Yeah,
and not get that promotion sooner. Which is a very tough thing to decide on, and you can see it staring him apart. You see that his wife's not that happy, and then he's like, "All right, fuck it, I'm gonna go get myself a remote."
Like I can't have
that subject.
No, because he's like, I can't have helicopters keep flying into my face while the dog's fucking the duck endlessly. Like I can't.
So,
have...
you just had to get out of the house and just like buy it from Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
And I love it that Beyond is the part where you get all the weird shit.
Yeah, as we meet Morty, played by Christopher Walken, and like this is my introduction to what a great actor Christopher Walken is. But like, you're like, it's the funny talking guy. That's my childhood. Every time he would pop up, I'm like, he's the funny talking guy. And then later in life, when I watched,
it was a Batman movie for me.
Oh, later on in life, it's like, he's Christopher Walken from Pulp Fiction and all that shit. But for now, I'm like, funny talking guy is giving the guy this weird remote, and he's like, is it from Japan? Like, no, it's our own invention. He's like, okay, cool, I'll try it out. And then the dog's just barking when he gets home. He's like, would you shut the fuck up? Just mutes him. He's like, that's weird. That really doesn't happen that way.
By the way, I kind of have to agree with Morty here. Like, Kate Beckinsale is very hot. And this is like what stapled my like childhood crush for a while. Like Kate Beckinsale being in like Van Helsing and Total Recall, I was like, I'm up for it because this was my celebrity crush for a very long time until Ana de Armas came along.
I thought you were going to say I was seeing her in all leather in Underworld. Because this came out.
I don't like Underworld. I'm not into leather.
I thought you were going to say like I'm not into the plot, but sure, leather does fine too.
But yeah, she's very hot. This gave me hope. Not to insult Adam Sandler here, but if a guy can look like that and then get a wife like that, there is a chance. Why are you suddenly scratching it like? But that was the dream. That was the goal, and it's still my goal. Oh god.
When Morty was like, he was like, you know what? I've always been picking up chicks before my wife, and like Morty's like, all right, let's show us your other previous girlfriends, and you're like, oh, right. 2000s were pretty sexist back then. Cool.
Like the fat shaming jokes, I was like, they were kind of like going overboard with that one.
Yeah.
And then he does grab Kate Beckinsale, getting very hot. Sorry, big ass crush. Wait, where were we? Yeah, Bed Bath and Beyond. I don't know why I have a hard time.
No, he paused the dog and then mutes the dog, pauses his wife, and it's like, let's remote something else, huh? And like he finds out he can go autopilot to like the boring parts of life, like, I have to have dinner with my parents and my family, and I'm like, I'm just not interested. I'd rather get to work watching this stereotypical Asian documentary on architecture.
Yeah. He does, and like I do love the features of that remote, because like, yeah, you could pause, you could volume up, volume down. When somebody's speaking another language, you actually switch it to subtitles, or like, the audio, you could change it.
Yeah.
So you could understand them.
You can also go back.
Which gives me hella anxiety when I'm with like foreigners.
Why?
I'm like, are they talking about me?
Oh, okay.
Like in another language.
The remote also lets you access previous memories, which is one of my favorite features, because I'm like, I would like to go back and see how cringy I was. Why not? No. Just to be like, now to see where you started and now you're here. Like, improvements.
Yeah. No. I did a lot of stupid shit back in the day. I don't want to see this.
Well, to the geeks and the generals who don't know, I wasn't the most social either, so could see me in my past.
Here's the thing, I was very social. It was very cringe as well.
And then when
so people saw it.
But yeah, and like with a remote of that power, it's literally a universal remote of the universe, and it's about your life. And his life is narrated by Sir James Earl Jones. You're like, you know what? That's a pretty sweet feature.
Yeah, I would love to have that.
But
yeah, like he's. I don't love the sex joke here, where like, they're getting into the mood, and I love it that the camera like shows the clock, and it's like at 1:40, and then it would show the process of them fucking, and it would go back to the clock as 1:43. Oh, that's just horrible. And also, I'm like, shit. Uh, we've all been, but not hopefully not consistently.
It's like, was I that fast? I didn't even feel it. Neither did I.
Here I. And I'm like, and you see the disappointment in Kate Beckinsale's face. I'm like, damn. I also do love it that, like, earlier on, you do see Samwise Gamgee, Sean,
Aston and like,
was it? Yeah, Sean Astin in the Speedo. I was like,
whoa.
hey, wait a minute. Well, I forgot he was in 50 First Dates as that steroid using guy.
Yeah. And you're like before Lord of the Rings, this is my exposure to John Aston. I'm like, I don't know why I see him as Samwise. I'm like, oh shit, it's Speedo guy from Click.
Also, solidifies the fact that if you are the nice guy, you do get a girl like Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
I know it's a movie.
But yeah, after the whole meeting with the Japanese, where he's like, you know what? Because he does understand them. He's like, you know what? We'll improve this and this. For once, he gets to celebrate with his family. He buys his kids new bikes. He buys his wife an expensive bag. And then the next day, David Hasselhoff is like, oh, you think you made partner? No, you just did a good job. Didn't say you get promoted. And like, but you led him to that conclusion. You fucking dick ass. Fucking,
Yeah,
you deserve.
bosses do tend to be like that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they're like, oh no, I told you that you'll be partner once you finish the deal with this said company.
Yeah.
But that thing would take you months
Yeah.
to finish. And I was like, wow, that is such a dick move.
Yeah, and then that's where he just slaps the shit out of him. Like, you know what? Later on in life, when I was in college, I was like, you know what? There are a bunch of people that I would like to pause and just kick the shit out of. I'm not endorsing violence. I'm not.
Yeah.
But like,
You gotta love it where you like slap a bitch and then you're like, wow, I have a headache for some reason. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why?
but no, there's a part where, what is his name again?
If Michael.
Michael's like, I'm tired of hearing like, things will get better. You just have to grind it out. I'm tired of grinding. I'm tired of all this shit. He even talks shit to his poor kids. I'm like, Dad, we made a new house. Do you like it? It's like, no. House made out of pizza. You fucking idiot. You're an idiot. You're stupid. And the guy's like,
Yeah, and he like tells him, was like, oh, to get through life is not through hard work, it's to kiss ass. Oh, actually, what was it?
hard work
all
and
of it.
kissing ass. That's all you
Yeah,
do.
hard
Is work
work and
hard
kiss-
and kiss ass. And
Yeah.
then Kate Beckinsale's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? He's 7.
Yeah.
And he turns to his daughter. He's like, I wanted to be made of unicorns.
No. Mine was made out of pickles. And she like starts running. Oh, like, aw, poor girl.
And then the remote just fast forwards itself to like when he is promoted. And then he's like, oh, how? Because he told David Hasselhoff to date Jennifer Coolidge, Kate Beckinsale's friend. He's like, oh, how long have you guys been together? It's been months, right? And they're like, no, it's been a year. How's, what do you call that? What do you call it? Couples counseling? And he's
Oh
like,
yeah, couple stuff.
it's like, what's a couples? What? And you're like, oh shit. His
The marriage is actually falling apart.
yeah.
Like without him noticing.
The kid's like, we don't like Dragon Slayer anymore. We like CSI. I'm like, that's horrifying.
Yes. And like, oh, it looked like he could fix it, but for some reason the remote automatically fast forwards now if there's a fight, a promotion, or a sickness.
Sickness, promotion, or like the boring things in life. Like, oh, I don't want to sit through 1,000 family dinners because I don't like my mom and dad for some reason. You're like, but they're old.
They seem
man.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry Winkler, that's his name.
Harry
sorry,
Winkler, yeah.
Henry or Harry Winkler. The comments will correct me. But yeah, it keeps fast forwarding, and like the one that sings the most is the 10-year jump when he's like, I don't want to
Fat.
pass. Yeah.
He's a millionaire and he's fat, and then like he goes back to his home. His son's fat and old,
Yeah.
and his like daughter's already a teenager and dating somebody. And Kate Beckinsale moved on and married
Sean
Samwise
Astin.
again.
Yeah.
I'm like, good choice. Also, good on you. And I love it that this is the future, but it was like, in 2017, Michael Jackson is suing his clone. I'm like, ooh, if only.
Britney Spears is still with Kevin Federline, and you're like, if only we knew.
If only we knew.
If only we knew.
And she was having her like 12th child or something like that.
God damn. Like here, like back then, it was funny that here now, knowing all their backstories, you're like, shit. This has aged tremendously poorly.
Well, and it was out of people's control too.
Yeah.
Like, but I do love it that cars were like so futuristic. There's holographic like billboards. Everything's like silver E, and I was like, where that?
When he was fighting Kate Beckinsale, and then he paused to kick like Sam and then take like 50 times. The note that he gives, did you think it was like, oh, the will you love me until the next morning? And then her reply would be forever and ever, babe. Like I'm pretty sure that's the note he gives Kate Beckinsale. I was like, wait,
no,
wait.
He was supposed to. Forgot why he didn't give it. Oh no, he was supposed to give it. Then the dog like knocked him out.
Nearly dead ass killed him because that kind of fit. You're like, how are you not paralyzed?
Yeah, and from there, they were like, oh, time has jumped because
6 years.
6 years because when they knocked you out and looked at your CAT scan, you actually had cancer. We cured it because we're in the future, and oh, by the way, Samwise Gamgee is my husband now.
No, you found out before, or were they like a thing before, or like
like oh my husband, or like this guy's my husband. Bill, Bob, either one. Yeah. She mentions that, and he's like flapping his like fat.
It's like I just wanna. Would you stop doing that? Like it's my fat. I can do whatever I want with it. Starts flapping it again. Are you done? Yes, I'm done. And then he meets with Ben, who's now this fit guy, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what an upgrade.
Yeah. And then he finds out that his dad actually died a long time ago.
Yeah.
Or like 2 years ago. I think it was like 2021.
And then the painful part is that he wasn't even there during his dad's last day, but the last interaction of him was like him just ignoring his dad. He's like, I'll show you.
Not ignore, he yelled at him.
He yelled at him too. He's like, I'll show you the coin trick if you hang out with Ben and I. He's like, I've always known the coin trick. And Dad's like, oh, okay. I love you.
And then like he's like crying. I was like, when did this movie come out? 2007?
6.
6? So I was 7 years old when I saw this movie. That brought me to tears. I was like, I don't ever want to be mad at my dad. And now I'm at my 20s and I'm always yelling at my dad. Trust me, we yell at each other a lot.
Yes,
it's just our chemistry.
I've been in the car with these two. It's pretty entertaining. But yeah, and then Morty's like, I'm sorry about your dad. I didn't want to take him away from me. You're like, what do you mean you didn't want to take him away from me? Like, you didn't know I'm the angel of death. And you're like, what?
Yeah, that was the biggest twist of this whole movie, where it's supposed to be like a life lesson movie.
Yeah. And then again, it jumps forwards to Ben's wedding. He's like much older, but thankfully his mom was still alive. That was the point. I was like, oh.
Why did it jump?
I don't know how much time in years, but like it just jumped to his son's wedding.
No, because there's always a reason why it jumps, right? Oh, no. So, like, he was, like, being cornered by,
the Angel of Death. Morty.
Yeah, the Angel of Death. And he was like, take me somewhere good or nice. And he does. And fast forwards him to the wedding of his son.
Yeah. And then there's the realization. It's like, for once in my life, I didn't miss out. I got to see my son get married. And you're like, fuck, this movie hits hard when it wants to.
It started to hit hard.
Yeah.
Like, after the dad scene, that's when it started to hit hard. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And then, like, him having to dance with his, like, ex-wife. And it was like, I'm sorry. You know, like, he's saying he's sorry that it didn't work out. And then he sees his daughter dancing with Bill. And then Bill goes out to get drinks, and she's like calls him dad and gives him a heart attack. I was like, yeah, that would destroy me too.
Yeah. And then they're at the hospital, and then he's like, "Aren't you going on your honeymoon, Ben?" And Ben's like, "No, I have work. I would cancel the honeymoon." And then that gives him enough strength to like go out of the hospital to be like, "Don't do this. Don't make the same mistakes I did." And like, it's a tough scene to watch because he's barely alive, and even more just like, "What are you doing? You're gonna die."
Yeah. I was bawling when I was a child when I saw this scene where he's telling him like, don't prioritize work over family.
Yeah.
Go out with your wife. And then he says his goodbyes to everybody. Like to his daughter, like, sorry I couldn't make it to a 200.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. He gives Bill the finger but also does this. Like he's doing a good job. And then to his wife, he gives her the note. I was like, no!
Like every time I watch this movie, I forgot how hard the end hits. Like, God damn it! Why?
Yeah. And then like he dies and he wakes up, and like the whole lesson here, I think, Christopher Walken like mentioned where, it wasn't just the remote; it's you going through life, and that's what you're actually doing.
Like
is that you're going on autopilot, prioritizing work over family.
Like every time, it was between work and family, work wall, and even he's like, no. He's like, I'll fucking show you your decisions, and you're like, fuck. As a kid, you're like, I won't ever experience someone like that, or I won't ever go through that. No way. And then you go through life, you're like, oh.
But it's such a difficult situation. Yes, it's good to be there for family, but it's also good for to work. And it's so hard to balance. And when you get it right, you get it right. But like, if you're starting out, you don't know what to prioritize.
Yeah. And like, I have met relatives and like people who are going down the path of, Adam Sandler. The sad thing is they're not going to wake up in Bed Bath and Beyond. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah, like kind of absentee father as like, will work. You're going to be a rich kid, but you're not going to know what your parents going to do.
Yeah. Then the rich kid ends up being, having issues. Like, oh, how come you don't drive a limo? It's like, oh, how come you don't have a dad? I'm sorry. I've never said that personally. I made a joke.
When somebody crosses me, I'm using that. And I'll thank you for it.
I do like the part where he's like, Kate Beckinsale's just going off. Like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm doing plans for the camping trip. What the hell's wrong with you? She's like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah, can you keep it down? I can't work. I can't plan this camping trip without all these noise. Yeah, with all these noise. And then Kate Beckinsale was like, wait, what? And then it's he learned his lesson.
Yeah,
I got to start prioritizing family. And I was like, no, that's great. That's nice.
And then you're like, was it just a dream? Because you see the remote again, and then he gets rid of it. It's like, no, it's not on my head. It's not on my pocket. No, I don't look like I have a stiffy. Cool. It's gone forever. Yeah, that's where the movie ends. And like, as a kid, I was like, I understand half of this movie. The other half, I'm like, I guess other people will experience it, not me, no. And then later on in life, I'm like, you know what? I should just learn to shut up.
Yeah. And it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good lesson to be learned. Like, learn to balance. Yes, it's hard, but you gotta do it. Kind of deal.
And I think this is the last good movie before Adam Sandler went on his streak of like, wow, that's pretty bad. Like Jack and Jill, Grown Ups 1 and 2.
Hey, 1 was great.
I haven't seen 1. I've only seen 2. So
1's good. 2's horrible.
And then he does something like Uncut Gems, and you're like, what the fuck?
Where did that come from?
Gives you a near panic attack. You're like, I'm sorry for talking shit about you. I'm sorry. Maybe if our nerves are very calm, we'll do Uncut Gems one of these days. That will require...
Yeah, do it with somebody else, not me. I can't think of that movie.
I will do the nice basketball movie that came out last year. Yeah. Well, for now, what would you rate Click?
I'm gonna give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Kind of movie. It's a good comedy, but at the same time, a very heart-wrenching, like life lesson kind of story. Everybody did great, and it's a star-studded cast too, which you didn't really expect from a comedy. You're like, wow, okay, really, Kate Beckinsale. Christopher Walken's been in a lot of comedies, but yeah. The story is mostly the thing that like hooks me. Like, it's a really damn good story about like you having the power of God to stop time, volume, just skip through life, and then you kind of just like, what do you call it? My brain's farting right now.
You have a power of God, but at the same time you lose out on the most important moments in life. It's the Ferris Bueller's Day quote of like, life moves so fast, if you don't take a moment to pause, you'll miss out on the best parts.
If you don't look around, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. I really suggest 7.5 out of 10. I really suggest people should watch this. It is one of Adam Sandler's good ones before it kind of starts tanking.
Yeah.
But then he's back up there.
Yeah, he has an upcoming movie with Brad Pitt soon, and I'm like, wow, cool. Can't wait to see that dynamic of 90s actors. If you throw in DiCaprio in there, I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll also give this a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty good movie. Like, it's one of Adam Sandler's best, and like that's how I got introduced to Kate Beckinsale. Did it blow your mind when you found out she was British? And I'm like, what the fuck?
I did not know.
Her American accent is just so convincing. You're like, Jesus Christ, my life is a lie. Christopher Walken is pretty good. Like, the only reason I detract points is that there are a lot of things that just don't age well. Especially in the beginning when he's talking to like the folks from the Arab folks, and like, foreign names are hard to pronounce. That's a funny thing. We're like, stop it. Please just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That didn't go so well.
Yeah. And like the light stuff on like serious matters too. You're like, again, what the fuck was wrong with us back then?
Hey man, we were finding our footing. Which jokes were not okay, which ones were. That's why they're just a product of the time.
Yeah. And apparently the time was 2006, so which is fine. But yeah, that has been our video on Click. If you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. Did I say something funny?
Keep going.
Oh no, you'll tell me after. What?
And it sounded like you're about to say you porn. Because you're like, you put tube? And I'm like, ooh.
Best April Fool's joke. But you can also find us on Spotify and TikTok. If you want to see our best and funniest moments, go to TikTok. If you want to hear us on the go to Spotify. Individually, you can find me at Gandalf95 on Twitter. How about you?
Oh, you can find me at John GOM_ on Instagram. That is my I don't know my account.
And we won't be having a number 3 video because we're going on a break for April, since it's gonna be a holiday. So yeah, just wait till the next set of videos. But until the next one, we'll see you all then. Bye guys.
Ciao.